Hello and welcome to Transformation Tuesday. I am your certified health coach, John Garcia, for Up Level Living. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Seems like Facebook Live is getting a little bit harder and harder to get on, especially at this time. So anyway, we are going to give this another shot. Today's topic is how lack of sleep may be killing you. And I think sleep is one of those things that everybody probably loves, and you definitely hate it if you're not getting enough sleep, right? Because it brings on a lot of different problems. So we're gonna get right into it. It's not gonna take too much time today, but I want to stress it because sleep is literally like the third pillar of health. You have diet, you have exercise, and then literally sleep, and everything that is involved with sleep is literally the third pillar. So in my health coaching and at the clinic, sometimes I see people and they're dieting right, they're eating right, they're getting exercise, and they're still gaining weight. They're still, not feeling well. So my next question usually is, how much sleep are you getting? And then right away it's like, oh, I don't get any sleep, or, I barely get 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. And then it's like the aha moment because people don't realize, to what extent a lack of sleep is deteriorating your health. So we're going to talk a bit about it today. If you're having issues like insomnia, if you have trouble sleeping, definitely comment. You can also email me, John at Up Level Living. And if the information you get today, isn't enough to help you, I can definitely help you do something a little more customized. So, obviously there's some basic things that sleep causes that sounds pretty common sense, like causing accidents. Um, it being sleep deprived can be as debilitating as being drunk, as drunk driving. So, you know, and it causes, obviously terrible accidents and tragic, deaths on the road because people are trying to drive while they're sleepy. You've probably seen the signs, don't drive sleepy. Really, it's that bad. It's that actually happened to me once. I was very young and I had taken some pills for allergies, and I had never taken pills for allergies before. So I was sleepy. On top of that, I had these, drugs that made me more sleepy. And let's put it this way: I woke up after the accident and glass all over the place, and my life was saved that day by God, without a doubt. Didn't hurt anybody else. Was late at night, but I was lowering the window. I was trying to get air. Next thing I know, I had an accident. So I can testify firsthand. Sleepiness definitely causes accidents. Please be safe. If you're sleepy, don't drive. Just like if you're drinking. They say it dumbs you down. So when you are sleep deprived, your attention, your alertness, your concentration, your reasoning, and problem solving actually go down. So yeah, you're tired and you may think you're just not concentrating, but you're talking about a lot of other specific things that you need to make good decisions. So attention, alertness, concentration, reasoning, and problem solving. So it goes to say, if you were up all night and you have a test the next day, you have something important, you're not going to be very sharp. And that sounds like common sense, but I just wanted to put that out there. Number three is really, we're going to get back to it because those are the real severe problems that sleep deprivation can cause. But here's one that may interest people. It lowers your lack of sex drive. So it also can bring on sleep apnea, and people with sleep apnea have lower testosterone levels. So there is a chemical imbalance, but just being sleep deprived doesn't make you very romantic. I'll put it at that. We'll leave it at that. It also, sleep deprived people tend to be more chronically diagnosed with depression. So that's very serious. Insomnia has the strongest link to depression. In a study, 10,000 people, those with insomnia were 5 times as likely to develop depression. So, I'm going to throw out these things out here, things that you may or may not have, considered. You just think you're getting a bad night's sleep and you're tired, but there's some real damage and there's some real potential chronic diseases that are going on. Lack of sleep also ages your skin. When you don't get enough sleep, your body releases more of the stress hormone cortisol in excess amounts. That breaks down skin collagen. Obviously, that's the protein that keeps your skin smooth and elastic. Now, that before it really leads to anything else is cortisol and stress. You hear me say it all the time if you've been in my class or if you're part of any of the coaching, how detrimental stress is to everything that's health and wellness related. So when you're not getting sleep and you are, in a state of chronic stress and you're raising cortisol levels, it's obviously a huge recipe for disaster. So you're raising your chronic stress levels as well. Sleepiness makes you forgetful. So, if you're having a little trouble remembering things, there's a real reason. There's literally waves that they call them sharp wave ripples that are going on in your brain, and then that becomes affected, and it occurs mostly during the sleepest levels of sleep. So if you're not getting to that deep level of sleep, you're not getting those ripples, and it's causing you to be more forgetful. So as a health and wellness coach, a lot of what I do has to do with weight loss and weight management. And people who don't sleep as much tend to be also, have more prone to be obese. Lack of sleep seems to be related to an increase in hunger and appetite, and possibly to obesity. This study here says that less than 6 hours a day, almost 30% were more likely to become obese than those who slept 7 to 9 hours. So I guess I should have said that at the beginning. Your ideal, what you're looking for, is 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So 30% of people sleeping, 5-6 hours, 30% of them were more likely to be obese. So again, in my practice, if you're eating right and you're exercising, but you're not sleeping and you're gaining weight, here it is. This is a big part of why that's happening. It impairs judgment, like we said before, and then I'm going to go back to number 3, because these are real. We're talking about causes of death. So it leads to more heart disease. It leads to more heart attacks. It leads to more heart failure, irregular heartbeat, high blood pressure, stroke, and diabetes. We're talking about real disease, cardiovascular diseases. According to some estimates, 90% of people with insomnia also have another health condition. So, don't laugh it off, don't play it off. We're not trying to add stress, but it's a real problem if you're not getting enough sleep. Obviously, those are some big problems that sleep causes. So the opposite is true. If you're sleeping, it's going to help you keep a healthy heart, right? I mean, your cardiovascular system is going to function better. This is interesting, it helps prevent cancer. So I didn't really know this. Melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep, is thought to protect against cancer, as it appears to suppress the growth of tumors. So, when you're dealing with cancer, every little bit helps. And, here's something with melatonin, and there's some other good things I'm going to share about melatonin as well. So it may help prevent or, prevent cancer or suppress growth of tumors. Of course, so if not sleeping causes stress, sleeping the right amount reduces stress, which reduces inflammation, which in a nutshell, stress and inflammation are like 90% of all of our root causes of diseases. Really, it's that much of an issue. It makes you more alert, right? We talked about being sleepy when you're driving and how terrible that can be. So it makes you more alert. It improves memory. We talked about the opposite effect earlier. Helps you lose weight. So the opposite of gaining weight. People who sleep fewer hours at night are more prone to be overweight. So obviously getting enough sleep helps, because it helps regulate some of the hormones. Napping, some people love this because some people love to nap. I don't nap. Not a napper, maybe. Not really. But it makes you smarter. So there's been a lot of studies about napping. The thing about napping is how much time is a good time to nap. People who did not nap or took naps shorter than an hour experienced mental decreases 4 to 6 times greater than those who napped at least an hour. So there you go. Shoot for an hour in your nap, and keep it about that point. And of course, if it causes depression when you're sleepy, it helps reduce depression when you're getting the right amount of sleep. So, basically, obviously, the opposite of some of the negative effects. But here's one of the ones that we didn't mention in the negative, but it helps the body repair itself. So while you're sleeping, your body's regenerating cells and repairing cells. So sleep is the time for you to relax, but the body goes into work mode. It's hard at work repairing damage caused by stress, ultraviolet rays, and other harmful exposures, chemical toxins, things we eat. Your cells produce more protein while you are sleeping. These protein molecules from the building blocks for cells. So it's building cells, it's repairing damage. So it's not just that you're resting and feeling, rested the next day when you wake up. It's that you've literally been repaired. Your body goes into maintenance mode. And that's why, you see teams now, sports teams, a lot of them have nap rooms and they have sleep coaches and everything. I mean, it's like the sleep revolution is here. There's books on sleep. You should really, really, do your own homework on sleep. If you're getting 7 to 9 hours, God bless you, and keep doing what you're doing. But if you're not, you really need to make that part of the priority of your health, of making yourself a priority, and coming up with a plan to fix it. So don't just accept insomnia. I'm just an insomniac. I'm just not a morning person. I'm a night person. If you're messing with your rhythm, with your sleep rhythm, with your circadian rhythms, there's some real long-term, there's also studies about early onset of Alzheimer's, and damage to the brain. So the list goes on, and I'm telling you, it's as important as diet and exercise. And for many people, stress is really that big difference maker, and sleep is one of the best remedies to manage and control stress. So one of the things you can do is create a pre-bedtime routine. When we were kids, we had a routine, and it was like whatever it was. 8 o'clock was, no more electronics, and then there was a little story time, and then there was hot milk and cookies, and you just induced that whole body, and the process was ready for sleep. And then of course we get older and everything changes, and that goes away. But what doesn't go away is the need for that routine for your body. Because why? Mr. Habit Coach here tells you that when you repeat the activity, the behavior enough times, you're going to turn it into a habit. So falling asleep in a restful state can be something that you can regulate by creating a pre-bedtime routine and creating a habit. So by doing this, by creating this pre-bedtime routine, we're going to calm the overactive mind, right? That's probably the biggest problem most people have, is shutting this damn thing off. No more thoughts, just trying to no more self-talk. It's time to shut up, but it doesn't happen for a lot of people. You can plan for tomorrow so that there's no more kind of worry about it while you're trying to fall asleep. Repeating the pattern is going to help you create the habit. And then a lot of times it says many activities in the evening can be overstimulating, and just watching TV and just being on the phone, those ultraviolet lights are actually telling your brain to stay awake. Even though some people fall asleep with it, it's not really the healthy way to do that. I'm going to go ahead and put these out for a second just for fun, but bam, these are called blue blocker glasses. You don't need to get them so outrageously big, and even yellow. There's some clear ones that have ultraviolet blue blocking rays, but if you put that on an hour before bed, it blocks all the blue light. It starts to induce the sleepy state and increase melatonin. So blue blocker glasses are a great investment. Let me talk about a couple of other things. So you want to switch off your electronic devices, right? Tough to do. You probably have a habit of going to bed scrolling. It's not the way you want to do it, and especially if you are having trouble falling asleep, that could be the number one thing. It overstimulates your brain. That blue light is telling you to stay awake, messes with your circadian rhythm, takes longer to fall asleep. So turn those things off. I know we're addicted to them. Let's find some other things to do. Simple relaxation exercise or meditation before bed. Really just deep breathing. I have some notes here of sitting cross-legged on the floor or lying down comfortably, and just breathing deeply 5 times. In through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and then out through your mouth for 4 seconds. If you can do that 5 times, you're gonna dramatically kind of like induce calm and release stress. Deep breathing, and there's a lot of other really great resources on deep breathing and all the benefits it has, but that can just instantly take you from a chronic stress and stressful state instantly to a much calmer state. Kind of telling yourself that the day is over, you deal with the rest tomorrow. Some people can write down the things that they're are on their mind, and you write it down, you close the book, and tomorrow's another day. This is a cool thing. You kind of tell yourself 3 things that you were grateful for today. There's some cool apps that you can use, for that, or you can just write it down, a little journal next to your bed. and then maybe breathe deeply again a few more times. So that's kind of like a little mindset exercise. Reading, I love to read, but man, nothing puts me to sleep faster than reading. It's so hard for me to read now at night, and it gets me a little bit pissed off because I have something I really want to read, and 15 minutes later I'm just not doing too good and falling asleep. So I guess that's good, but I need to maybe read a little earlier. Listening to music, obviously soft music. Sometimes just being too quiet, people need that white noise or that background noise. So listening to music is good. Like I said, writing down worries or reminders for the next day. Having a relaxing drink. Now, let me say this carefully. We're talking about decaffeinated tea, chamomile, things that are soothing and calming. Alcohol is not that. Now, here's the thing with drinking. There is a sleep-inducing chemical that alcohol brings on, and it's called adenosine. Okay, I'll have it in the notes. But basically, some people, you drink and say, "Wow, I fell asleep fast." Yeah, you could fall asleep fast, but also as fast as that chemical rises, it's kind of like a sugar rush. Is also as fast as it's depleted, which tends to then wake your body up in the middle of the night. Um, Alcohol also blocks REM, which is the deep sleep. It has to do with basically your liver, detoxifying, and it's just overworking. So it doesn't let you go into that real restful recovery, restorative sleep. Um, it also does tend to make you snore more, and snore can be disruptive, and it can also lead to sleep apnea. And obviously, you may have to go to the bathroom a few more times, so that's going to disrupt your sleep. Another thing is like prayer. Obviously, we spoke about meditation, but just kind of getting your mind into another place. And one of the things that is really important is the temperature in the room. Obviously making it as dark as possible, but also making it as cool as possible. Most of the recommendations are somewhere between 65 and 70 degrees. Usually we sleep at around 73 degrees here, but we do have a ceiling fan, right over the bed. So that tends to kind of just make it feel cooler, even though the fan doesn't obviously cool the room, but it does make it feel cooler. Um, Now, there are some supplements. Obviously melatonin is the sleep inducing chemical, but taking melatonin isn't 100% necessarily proven that helps create more melatonin, right? That's the weird thing about the body. You have a supplement and you think that you take more of it, but really what you want to try to do is take something that your body helps your body create more melatonin. And one of the things that does do that is magnesium. So magnesium does increase basically something called GABA, which helps relaxation and sleep. So you could take some magnesium supplements. You can also eat foods that are richer in magnesium. You could do your Google search on that. But generally things like greens, nuts, and seeds, and some really good news, chocolate has a lot of good melatonin, but pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, black beans, um, like I said, dark chocolate, actually, not milk chocolate. Don't ever, I mean, not don't ever, but milk chocolate is not really good for you, not too many benefits. Dark chocolate is where you want to be. Avocados, all those things have really good magnesium, natural. Your body's going to create and absorb that magnesium. I think 400 milligrams is the daily recommendation. So, try it if you're definitely on the insomnia side, and you want to, including all these other things we spoke about, add some magnesium or foods that create more magnesium. Highly, highly recommended. Now I want to kind of finish with this. So 7 to 9 is the goal, right? So you sleep tonight 5 hours, right? Way below, and you feel all this stuff, and you understand, and then you figure, okay, on Saturday or Sunday I'm gonna catch up and I'm gonna sleep 10 hours. It doesn't work that way, people. You can't make up for lost sleep time. It's a day by day thing. So here's the very important thing. For whatever reason, 7 to 9 hours is the goal. For people who sleep over 10 or more, it tends to have the same negative effects as sleeping 6 or less. So there's definitely something that happens when you sleep too much that creates a metabolic imbalance, um, and it slows down your metabolism. A lot of people who sleep too much tend to be actually a little bit heavier. They tend to have higher triglycerides. hypertension, low HDL, which is the good cholesterol. So, you know, don't think that because sleep is that important, you're going to, find time to sleep 10, 11, 12 hours. There are proven, this study here, I think it was about 30,000 people. So it was a big study. And it basically showed a correlation between 10 or more and 6 or less. So too little is no good and too much is no good. Your body, I guess, just needs to get back out and start, being active again. So if you're getting too much sleep and thinking, oh, well, sleep is good for me, not so much, not so fast. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. It's Transformation Tuesday, how lack of sleep may be killing you. And we left with the footnote how too much sleep can also be killing you. So I guess like everything else that we talk about, it's 80-20, it's moderation. That's how the body was meant to function at its best. So I hope hope this helps you. And if you do have any questions, John at Up Level Living. If you want something with additional support to help with sleep, please do not be afraid to reach out. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you and have a great night. Bye bye.